Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Ankerstar Wealth Morning Show. I'm your host, Allison Ankerstar, and today we'll be talking about the latest in Apple stock, whether or not Rivian can make a comeback, and the latest in crypto and legislation. But before we begin, as a reminder, this is a financial education presentation and should not be construed as personal financial advice. Full disclaimer information is available at ankerstarwealth.com. Good morning, Steve. Apple stock has been hitting new highs in 2023. Can this continue?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Allison, for that intro. Hope everybody enjoyed the long weekend there. We're back. We're trying. The market is trying to figure out where it is this morning as far as up or down. The market's kind of coming off a sugar high. We've been doing pretty well for 2023, and we're kind of spinning down a little bit today from where the market's run up. But specifically, Apple has run up. When we toggle over to how Apple stock is doing, this is the year-to-date chart. If you look at it, if you scroll down to the bottom right there, 43% move higher in Apple, bouncing off all-time highs. So the question becomes, can it continue? And I would say it can, but it probably needs to take a breather at some point in here. If you are monitoring your accounts closely with us, you know that we've rebalanced quite a bit in the past couple weeks, which sometimes that means trimming some of your Apple. Obviously, if you've held it for a long time in taxable accounts, that's we got to really watch what we're doing tax-wise there. But that's our job, is to go in and take a look at that. But overall, can it continue? Yes. I just don't think it'll be up another 40% between now and the end of the year. Expect that it's probably going to come in here a little bit if you're waiting to get in. I wouldn't have a FOMO attitude, a fear of missing out. So just let it take a breather and before it comes in. But when you back out, though, here's your 1 year chart in Apple. So it kind of explains that you've seen here's the beginning of 2023. So it did sell off significantly. If you picked up new shares down here around 25, around 125, good for you. And certainly if you're a long-term Apple shareholder, this is 5 years where down here at 2019, which doesn't seem that long ago, it was 4 years ago. It was down at 37, so you're up, 400% if you bought it 4 years ago. Or you take the long-term chart, and of course, this is what you're looking for. This is why you buy and hold best-of-breed stocks, right? If you back it up 20 years, you've got a cost basis of 25 cents on your $185 stock. So good place to be. But yeah, temper your expectations for Apple. Kind of a wait and see sort of thing. And if you're looking to get in or buy more, I would honestly wait. It will take a breather at some point, in my opinion.
Next, Rivian stock is making its comeback after setting new lows. Is there a hope for a comeback here?
Yeah, so Rivian, if you think Apple's maybe not quite as good as the stock price reflects, but Rivian may not be quite as bad. It's been absolutely crushed. However, there are new and exciting things going on in the Rivian space. Overall, I'm not thrilled with investing with Rivian as a stock. I've stayed largely out of the EV space, which means including missing out on this huge move in Tesla higher here. But again, highly competitive space. I'm not attracted to put capital to work there. But if you are a speculator and or a trader, take a look at Rivian. They just had this new press release from today that they're one of many now that is hopping into the Tesla charging standard, where they can go in and use the superchargers. So that's great news. You can see the stock is getting a little bit of a pop there. This is the chart here for Rivian. I backed out. This is a 5-year chart. So it was at 125 when it opened back in, what is this? Late 21, so not even 2 years ago. Moved from 129 down to $15. So if you've been in it since day one, you're down 80+%. However, if you zoom in on year to date, there's getting some life back in it, right? It's moved up from a bottom in late April, early May, from $12 up to $15. So that's a 25% gain from then. And yeah, you could find some attractive things here. Again, I'm not interested, but when you look at, hey, low PE because they're losing money, but they are pretty aggressive, and you're starting to see them out in the wild too. So you see Rivian vehicles on occasion. So if you're a speculator, go ahead and hop in. Long-term investor, though, I'd go ahead and take a pass on Rivian.
Last, recent regulations surrounding the crypto space is forcing some major decision to be made. What does this mean for crypto as a security?
Yeah, so as you know, Allison and Jaden and I all went to a conference last week on digital assets, which includes crypto. It's not only crypto, but it includes crypto. But as you can see in this top line here, I'll highlight it in blue. There's a lot going on in the crypto space, and there's a big, battle going on between the SEC and the large crypto players like Binance and Coinbase. So, kind of back that up with you had Silicon Valley Bank, and you had the other crypto fallout from some fraud that is has gone on in the past. Now they're going after what I would call the more legit firms like Binance and Coinbase that are trying to do everything correctly. So here's why I think this is an interesting opportunity: is the SEC is finally taking a stance and filing these lawsuits. Again, these are 2 weeks old, but the situation's coming to a head, and the SEC has to make a decision. And hanging out with Rick Edelman a little bit, again, as the leader in the space, it's kind of calling out the SEC and the government of like, look, you have to make a decision. Is it a security? Is it not? We need to move forward on this either way. Right. So I think here's why this is an interesting situation: is if the U.S. government, whether it's SEC or through some legal means, comes in and wins, if you will, and either tries to take down crypto, whether by making it illegal or legislating it kind of so hard that it won't allow it to trade publicly, that sort of thing. Crypto wins, right? Because that's the government trying to, under the theory of the government's trying to hold crypto down, so therefore crypto gains momentum that way. Or the other way is the SEC finally says, you know what, it is a security. Here comes a Bitcoin ETF, all those sorts of things. Either crypto is validated. So I think it's it's high risk, obviously. It can go to zero. But if you're interested, I think now is a pretty good entry point. I've been doing a lot of reading from this past weekend on exactly how to play this if you buy into it. I think Bitcoin is the only way to play it if you're interested, and buying it outright is the best way instead of using the proxies we have in the past. More to follow here, right? Because a lot is happening in the space. But overall, when you look at where Bitcoin is specifically, we'll pull up the chart here. 26,700. If you don't believe, then just tune out. But if you do believe, I think we're in an interesting entry point here below 30,000. So again, more to follow. I have a lot of reading and a lot of thinking to do with this, but I think there's a room for this. Again, if you believe and you can handle the higher risk level of adding some Bitcoin to your portfolio, and we're in talks with Fidelity, has a new way to actually do that. Schwab won't let you hold it outright, but Fidelity's got a new program that is supposed to allow folks, individual investors using an RIA like us, to be able to have accounts that actually hold Bitcoin. So instead of you going through Coinbase and all that. So anyhow, more to follow in the space, but I do think this is something to watch for an entry point.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Please submit your questions as a comment through social media or directly to our email at vipservices@ankerstarwealth.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get daily updates. That's all we have for today's show. I'm Allison Ankerstar, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.